I think we need to lift the ban on crude oil exports. It was designed in 1973 during a time when we had an oil embargo. It might have made sense then. I'm not sure it did. It makes no sense now. We've had 4 million barrels per day of additional production. We should sell that to the world for national security purposes, for lower prices for us, and for greater high-wage jobs in this country. Lift that ban. It makes no sense. Lift the ban as it relates to LNG exports. If it's not a free trading country, it takes almost an act of God to get a permit. There's gas right underneath where we are, ready to be exported. It could be used as a national security tool to deal with Putin. It also creates high-wage jobs in this country and lowers energy costs if we're continuing to invest in our future. And so the first step is to lessen the barrier so that we can produce more. Secondly, we need to create the infrastructure to get this gas to market. Whether it's in New England where you have subsidized fuel oil, heavy carbon-intensive fuel oil at a higher price, that if you allowed the infrastructure to get to market, you'd be able to have hundreds of thousands of cubic feet of gas be provided to people that wouldn't be subsidized at a lower price, less carbon-intensive, by the way, and creating jobs right here. Or the infrastructure that's necessary to get to the industrial heartline or to the refining capacity in the Gulf Coast. Let's unleash the American experience on permitting so that we can expedite permitting to be able to create far greater demand. We do not have a supply problem in our energy sector, do we? We've got a demand problem because of the lack of infrastructure. As president, I would expedite permitting to make that happen. And as president, I would approve the XL pipeline, for crying out loud. That is the lowest hanging fruit I've ever imagined. Leases on federal lands and federal waters has declined by about 40%. Even though there's great potential, we know it to be true. And these revenues go to lower the budget deficit, which is still a problem in Washington, D.C. I will make sure that the Bureau of Land Management and the other agencies that are stopping progress on leasing lands will know that the next president wants them to do it in the right way. You can always find the proper balance between the environmental good, the environmental necessities, and economic progress. And that should be the objective of the next administration, to allow us to invest in our own dreams and also protect the natural environment. I did it as governor of the state of Florida. We can balance economic interests and environmental progress. But don't stifle it because you're upset that American entrepreneurialism, American exceptionalism has created a booming energy sector that you don't like because you want to be able to pick the winners and losers out from Washington, D.C. and impose your will on the rest of the country. That's not how America works. The final suggestion I have is that there should be greater deference to the states. If Virginia wants to allow federal waters off their coast to be able to develop that because they believe that will help them grow their economy, then there should be some deference and recognition that Virginians know what's going on. They don't want to destroy their beaches and their natural environment. There's a way to find common ground. If Alaska wants to do the same thing, then there should be some deference rather than imposing the will from Washington, D.C. When I'm elected president, the political hacks